Riot Fest Day 2, here we go. All right, apologies to Speed of Life. I was going to check you out, rock band from LA. I wanted a little extra sleep, a little extra time with the dog. So I'm going to get there. Choo Choo should drop me off at noon, be able to see Wishy. Feral Tact I've seen before. There's a Chicago band called Sludgeworth. They are amazing. And their drummer's son, who's a great drummer, he's in Feral Tact, but I have seen them before. So I'm going to go see Wishy. Agent Orange, H303, nothing really. A lot of people were saying this band, but when I checked them out, I wasn't that interested. The Cribs from the UK, go check them out. They came all this way. This is one of two things that really this year suck. We got Pegboy and Smoking Popes tomorrow at the same time, and we got Superchunk and Helmet at the same time today. What? No one asked me. You shouldn't have put these two bands at the same time. I've seen Superchunk before, numerous times. I've seen Helmet once before. In 1992 at the Metro here in Chicago, I was against the barricade, and I swear my rib cage were going to crack. It was an intense show. I might go see Helmet for a little bit, and then Superchunk. Superchunk's amazing. But yeah, after that, Marky Ramone, anything with the Ramones. I was never able to see the Ramones live, so yeah, I'll go see that then. The Bouncing Souls, always at Riot Fest here and there. I've seen them a long time. Seen them play small clubs. I've seen them, so I've seen them a lot. So probably more or less the Ramones. After that, probably Knuckle Punch. What do I have that? Chicago Pop Punk. Well, yeah, you got to support the local boys. That's why it's all here. Beach Boys, everyone's going to go to that. I don't see the humor in that. I saw them in Chicago Fest 81 or 82, and I wasn't entertained then. I highly doubt in 2025 I'm going to be entertained. I don't give a shit about John Stamos. Yeah, that's not a bargain. All right, we got a 20-minute walk and then we'll be in the door. Yippee. All right, it's 12:30. Oh, Lord of the Rings. That's a long walk. You want to go to the school?
back into the ring.
Yeah, he's back in the ring. So the match can start. We've had a singing competition.
The bell has rung, and here we go. Natalia Markova against the NWA World Women's Champion, Kenzie Page. Going for the headlock right now. They're jockeying for position. She's pulling the hair.
She is not.
Double team suplex right there.
There is 2 in the ring. One of them's gotta go.
There was a tag. It was legal. There's 5 seconds. Tag made right now. Kylie Page now in the ring.
More like 50.
Stepping on the hair. Ref, come on.
It's a little different when we're at Riot Fest, Kyle.
Yes.
Puncher in the uterus!
Stiff chop to the chest. We've got Natalia Markova. Clotheslines, back elbows. She's a house of fire. Chopping the life out of both sisters.
Those are completely illegal.
Into the corner. Jesse Kylie, yes she does, blocks and throws her in. The Page sisters.
Markova should be arrested.
All right, back in VIP land. Look, the grass is greener in VIP land. So much to do in VIP land, and there's nothing to do in VIP land. You can get a massage in VIP land, haircut in VIP land, have someone who's gonna bullshit you about your future in VIP land, merchandise VIP land. All I want to do is take a pee in VIP land. Where's the pee-pee place? Alright, we got 3 wings for $10 and a $2 drink. Way cheaper than what they're doing in the park. I always hated that fucking song, and now I still hate that song. I'm not having as much fun as I usually do, and honestly, I think it's just so crowded. Everything. I like looking at all the Guar people that are pink, but everything's just too crowded now. I don't know. Maybe Riot Fest just ain't for me anymore.
The
Probably one of the least fun days I've had at Riot Fest. Here, look at me. Probably one of the least fun days I've had at Riot Fest, but it was still fun. Ramon stuff was good. I'm gonna have my wife pick me up. We're gonna go to Rocket Tacos. I say, why? Why, Brian? Why isn't it not as fun? Well, it's something I've experienced a lot, so it's lost its newness. And also, it seems like every day it's oversold by about 10,000 people. So it's just crowded. I don't know. But it's cooler than being at work, I guess. So.
Maybe it's not as crowded as I thought.
Burrito time. All right, let's recap that day. What a perfect way to end the night. Hanging out with the pudding, having a burrito. So got there, went to see Wishy, like a dreamy pop alt band from Indiana. That was fun. I might pick up something of theirs along the line. And then I did, after a few songs, I changed my mind. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go check out Feral Tact again. Like I said, great Chicago band, Sludgeworth. Brian Verman is also in Screech and Weasel. His son, Max, hell of a drummer. Wish I was that talented at his age. I think he's like 7. And it's a 2-person band. So as a drummer, that leaves you a lot of space to fill. And he's filling it great. He's great fills, great beats. One hell of a drummer at his age. So it's really fun to see Feral Tact. And like playing in a 2-man group is probably ideal for him because he's got a lot of room to do a whole bunch of stuff. After Feral Tact, it was raining a little bit, but I like the rain. I've always liked the rain. Maybe I should move to the UK. I don't know. I don't mind the rain at all. And then it almost ran into Agent Orange, but I did go over to see Military Gun. A lot of people were talking to them. They're all right. It wasn't the greatest thing ever for me, but I can understand why a lot of the younger kids are going crazy for that. Agent Orange, like I said, a long-time punk, surf punk band. I believe I have seen them before, but I'm not 100%. That was fun stuff. Went around and then stayed to watch a little bit of the Cribs, because I was in the side view there you saw there. I don't know if I'm including that footage or not, but the Cribs from the UK, they call themselves a punk band. I would say more of like a pop rock band. The word punk is getting used so much. I don't know if it's a selling thing and people are like, oh, we'll sell. But yeah, it's a lot of bands we're punk, but I don't know, but whatever. Call yourself whatever. Call yourself ham sandwich. I don't care. And after that was Superchunk. I did change my mind. I'm going to start with Superchunk, and I knew Helmet was starting, but I'm like, you know what? If Helmet was playing one of the first 2 albums, I'd be all over that. But because they were playing the EP, which I do have on CD, but when I had it on vinyl, I did sell it because it was starting to get worth a little more. Anyway, let's get back to Superchunk. Love Superchunk. They announced from the stage that they actually have their 13th album out, Songs in the Key of Yikes, and I'd like to get that, but my love affair with Superchunk, 1990, the debut, Matador Records. When I think of indie rock, a lot of people don't even know or care what that term means. A band that's just doing it themselves. They're not joining a major label and asking corporations and people in suits what they should do and how they should market themselves. Should they call themselves punk rock? What kind of music? They're just, screw it, we're doing it ourselves. So these from North Carolina, and they just did a great thing. And when I think of indie rock sounds, I think exactly of Superchunk. To the perfect indie rock band. They're not stuff you'd really hear on the radio because they're a little better than the stuff you'd hear on the radio. But it's not like hardcore or anything. That's just rock. What else do I have? Hit Self-Destruct from Superchunk. I have tons of Superchunk albums. I have 12 because they just released the 13th. I haven't picked that one up yet. This is On the Mouth. I still have the order form for it. Look at me being all cool. Although this is a reissue of it. So yeah, a lot of the early stuff has been reissued. So feel free to reissue it. Or feel free to buy the issues. Where the strings come in. Uh-oh. Morrissey lost his hairpiece. Let's see. Put that back on. He hates it when his friends become successful. I had him here next to the Riot Fest. Sucks because I saw Morrissey at Riot Fest. I think twice maybe? Once for sure because it was the whole... Yeah, it was the whole thing. Foolish. Did I say that's where the strings come in? This is... That's where the strings... Here's where the strings come in.
here's where the strings come in. This is an iconic one. 95, a lot of great music was coming out. Wow, I'm surprised that they didn't do an album play for this. Here's where the strings come in, because it's a 30-year anniversary. But the reason probably why not for Superchunk is even when they release new stuff, this one's newer, 2018, What a Time to Be Alive. This is just as good as the early stuff. And a lot of bands can't do that. A lot of bands peak when they're young, they're in their 20s, they're hungry, they're literally hungry because they're usually in a van, traveling around, starving their asses off, and they put out good, angstful music. And then when they try to recreate that, especially if they've had a lot of success, it just never seems right. Some groups do mature well, but other groups not. So after Superchunk, I did walk all the way over to Helmet. They were doing an album play of Betty. Betty. That's it. EP. It's alright. I really love those first two Helmet albums. Since those first two, have I really stayed into Helmet? No. They're on my long list of groups that I really loved at one point. Tool would be the same thing. Really loved one or two albums, and I just kind of lost my interest in them as they go along. By the wrestling ring, which was nice, so I can watch wrestling and still listen to Helmet. So that was kind of fun. As you saw there, I was able to, and they played Unsung towards the end. That's a great song. Like I said earlier in this video, last time I saw Helmet was 1992 at the Metro. The barricade came up to here. I was pressed. I swear to God, I'm no doctor, but I have played one on TV. My ribcage was getting sunk in from the pressure of, I don't know, 1,000 people behind me, and then pushing. Oh my God, that was one of these ones. I don't know if people have ever been packed shows like that, these little clubs. We have to kind of either push off barricade or push off the person in front of you and breathe, and then try to live for another song, and then, but good times. Would I want to do that now? No, not anymore. Too old for that crap. I believe I walked outside and grabbed food, as you saw in the video. From where I was eating, I could hear the Bouncing Souls. I've seen them numerous times, shared the bill with them way back when in the 1990s. Came in, got a lemonade and fried pickles. $30. Lemonade and fried pickles. The shittiest fried pickles I've ever had in my life. And lemonade is water, pretty much, and a little bit of sugar. I mean, I get you have to gouge the people a little bit, but this year has been insane. Which brings me to another point. A lot of people are now at Riot Fest because it's an event. It's no longer I just want to go see certain bands. It's an event, which is every promoter's dream, that your club or your festival or whatever becomes just an event, a thing to do, a place to go. So it's attracting people literally from around the world now just to go to say, I'm at Riot Fest. You tell about people taking selfies at every little Riot Fest logo and sign, which is great. A lot of things mature into that. But then the people like me that just kind of liked a little bit of room and chance to see all these groups without 10,000 people pushing you one way or another way trying to get from stage to stage. I think the park holds 50 to 60,000 a day. It seems like 100,000 is there every day. So it has gotten too crowded. I believe it will stay this way forever. So you just have to ask yourself if you're willing to put up with a whole bunch of junk to see the few groups and have those few moments. That's really cool. Like for me, being up against the barricade for Superchunk was really cool. And this next thing that I did was also really super cool. I stayed to see Marky Ramone, which is one of the, I wouldn't say the original Ramones, but an early Ramone drummer. And he had his group, I don't know who was in the band, but a hell of a singer. It sounded a lot like Joey Ramone. I mean, you want to hear those songs sounding like the Ramones, sounding like Joey Ramone. So he picked up a guy that was really good sounding like Joey Ramone. You have to have this. Punk rockers, I mean, come on. Sire Records version, 1976. I was 5. I was listening to the Monster Mash, probably 45 I had. My album collection was not this at age 5. Sorry, I'm not that cool. But yeah, Ramones, this is the debut. This is what started it all. Black leather jackets, blue jeans, t-shirts, standing up against the wall saying, you know what, we've listened to a lot of stuff. We're not so into Styx. We're not so into Boston and stuff, these big rock bands. Yes, we want just simple rock and roll, taking it back to the core, just boom, hit you in and out with music. And ladies and gentlemen, punk rock was born. A lot of people would say Iggy and the Stooges, but let's just, for this video's sake, this is where it all started. So there'd be no Riot Fest without this record here. So it's fitting. My first Ramones album I actually bought, and I had it on cassette, which is a weird way to start into the band. This is 89, so it's when I was getting into punk. Brain Drain. Bought it at Rolling Stone Records here in Illinois. Bought the cassette tape, Brain Drain, the Ramones. It had Pet Sematary. I think it was a single. I don't know, MTV wasn't really playing it too much, but I Believe in Miracles, which they did play at the set. So yeah, for me, this is the Ramones started. But if you ever get a chance, there's reissues of early shows of theirs. You got to get these early concerts of the Ramones on vinyl. Sounds so sweet. I bought this a little while ago. It's not real. It is not real whatsoever. It is a reproduction of a promo with all their autographs on it, including little Marky Ramone too. That was pretty much the show. I was getting tired. I was contemplating whether I run any be at Riot Fest anymore with those crowds and just, but I did wander over, as you saw, and saw the Beach Boys. That was entertaining a little bit, like 2-3 songs. That's all I needed from them. I did circle back and go to Dropkick Murphys, which I've seen at Riot Fest before. Always fun, always Irish, always good. And then after that, on the way out, like I said, like one all-time low song, and then had my wife pick me up. So that was that day. I did miss Weezer doing this. I think this is there anyone out there watching it? My favorite Weezer album isn't the first one. I think everyone's favorite is the first one. I've seen them live before, and they play a lot of songs from this. So yeah, they look like little kids here. I have maybe like 6 Weezer albums, and I'm good with that. I really don't need any more than that. But yeah, this is the one that everyone wants to play. But I left before they played this because I just didn't want to deal with the crowds. Because today I'm going back to Riot Fest, and it's going to be a like 14-hour day. So thanks for watching.